But I was like really trying to perform this Paul Keens Douglas play, and it was a poem or something like it, right? And I get boo off stage, right? Like real hard boo. And it was just like a reality check. Like, this is not primary school. My name is Kyle Maloney. I'm from, wait, I don't even know where I'm from. I live a few places. I grew up in Diamond Vale for 11 years. Then I live in Shogunas for 5 years. Then I live in Tacarigua, Krong Street for 6 years. And then I moved to the west, and I live in the Cockery, Woodbrook area for the last 10 years. I'm from Trinidad, and I can eat curry every day. Generally, the school system and teachers don't understand how to deal with students who aren't academic in a traditional way, right? And so I did good in school, but when I felt motivated too. So my physics teacher kicked me out of class because he found I was too talkative all the time. I never paid attention. But I never paid attention because I have a short attention span before social media. My physics teacher kicked me out of class in January of Form 5, and exams are in June. And from his perspective, I guess he thought that I just wouldn't do good. And I saw it as a challenge, and I ended up getting a distinction in physics. And when I told him I get a distinction in physics and I showed him, he said that I lied. You know, I'm like, I can't create this paper. This is true. Like, this is what I did, right? So I'm that kind of student that just don't fall into the sit down in class, do your homework kind of thing. I'm the kind of guy, like, if I have a challenge, I'm gonna do it. And if I don't feel challenged and incentivized by it, I just wouldn't take it on. Teachers have so much to deal with, like such a range of students, and in those years as a teenager, you really don't know yourself, and so you pride yourself on testing people's patience. And so teachers underestimate the impact that they have on kids and the things that they say to kids. And so when my boys from my year come together, everybody's talking about, oh boy, you remember what this teacher said to you when we was in school, and this time when he said that, and look at what I am now, and look at what we're doing now. And I just sit down listening to the boys who are grown men now, right? And who have kids and married, etc., talking about what teacher said what to them that really made them feel crappy, and they took with them for their whole lives. And it was almost like, end up being like some level of a motivator at the back of their minds, at the front of their minds, wherever it was, to push past that and prove that they aren't that person that the teacher said that they were. And I had one teacher in particular, my English teacher. She told me that I was really smart, and she could see that I, despite that it would seem like I don't put a lot of effort into things sometimes, like she feels like I always have something sensible to say. It made me feel like understood a bit more, right? Because I was in her class, not paying attention, talking as I usually do, and instead of speaking to the clear, obvious negative, which is, why are you talking again in my class? Why are you not paying attention? She kind of like flipped it to call the good that she saw in me. And because of that, I aspired to be that good thing that she saw in me in her class all the time. And I didn't realize that is what happened to me until you get older and you begin understanding yourself a lot better, and understanding people a lot better. You realize that it's really important to speak to the good in people, and they aspire to that thing that you see in them. Yeah, so school wasn't a place to help you discover your skills. School was a place that really was like, hey, these are some skills that we think you should learn, and if you don't learn them, you're not going to be successful in life. During school, my mom led me to study engineering, so I studied aerospace engineering. And then from there, my dad is an entrepreneur, right? Sadly, my dad passed away. But my father really was a champion in our lives, and he was really set on us asking ourselves, what do we want to contribute in this world? What are we really passionate about? What problems do we really want to solve? And I started my first company in university because he was like, son, you're in the US, start a business, just start something, begin getting your feet wet and understanding how businesses are structured, right? And now 11 years later, after 6 businesses, 1 sold, 2 failed, 3 running. Now, this year I won the 2021 Entrepreneur of the Year award. It's like a crescendo of the work that I've been doing. And that is to say that I kind of gradually stumbled into what I felt was my calling and my purpose through a series of iterations, So it wasn't any one thing. I started with undergrad in aerospace engineering. And now, my business now is that I'm a connector of people and I invest in people and projects. And so it's such a big shift from where I started. But the important thing is to continue with the mindset of asking yourself, what problems can I solve? Who can I help? And what value can I bring into the world? I had a few, right? The first 2 is in my house. I was blessed to have 2 really good parents. My mother was the spiritual rock and center of my house, and my dad was the big entrepreneur that just brainwashed me to believe that I could do anything. And so as a kid growing up, I really couldn't ask for more of my parents in that way, but a lot of kids don't have that. And so you have to look outside for that. And so we live in a time where we have access to so much content. And so I know as a kid, you're inclined to just be entertained all the time, play your games and look at shit talk and look at the entertainment all the time. But it's really important to, even if you spend a few hours in a week looking at content that educates you, and doing a little bit of research into something that you care about. Yeah, the first company I started was in university, and it was a website that allows students to buy and sell items from each other on campus, because there's a very rich selling community on campus, and there wasn't a really efficient way to do it. So you buy books one semester and then you don't need it for the next semester, and then you're just trying to find some way to ask somebody if they want to buy a book. And so we built a website that allows students to just do this a little bit more easily, and we made about $3,000 to $4,000 a month from it, through selling advertising to places that wanted to advertise to the students. Yeah, like the bars, the restaurants, nightclubs, that sort of thing. My latest company, Tech Beach, is my most successful company. And we focus on enabling people to solve problems using technology and bringing together a community of some of the best people in technology from around the world to convene in the Caribbean. I started a company together with my co-founders from Trinidad, my brother and my 2 best friends, a company called First. And we were meant to be like the Yelp for the Caribbean. You come onto the application, you search for any business, you see reviews of the business, you see what products they're selling and that sort of thing. And we had such a phenomenal start. And we managed to attract investment from Digicel. Digicel invested about $2 million US into us for 25% of the company in 2014. And the goal was to raise another round of funding and really expand and grow across the region. But by 2015, we had ended up burning out the cash, and boom, big success and big failure, all in one within a very short space of time. And that was one of my biggest learning lessons. There's so many lessons that I took out from that. Yeah, partnering with people. All right, I have a lot of stories, a lot of experiences with it. So I have this thing where I like working with people that I like, and the people I like happen to be my friends, right? And so I love working with my friends, and I love helping to elevate the people around me and my community in that way. And so if there's an opportunity that I'm going after I want them to be a part of it in whatever ways they can. And so in many instances, this has worked really well, because I get to work with people that I can trust, that that when they're good at something, they deliver. And because I'm passionate and I share that passion with them for the problem we're solving, they give a lot of energy to it. But I mean, unfortunately, like that's not like translatable across every person in that way. And so I've been in partnerships with like my family, and it go really, really badly. But not entirely from the perspective that it was just family, but more so from a human perspective. From a perspective of like, at the end of the day, like regardless, like replace my family member with somebody else, I think like things like jealousy and not understanding themselves, not being able to communicate well the issues that they may be facing, not understanding how to deal with conflict resolution and progress from these things. I think those are issues that you're going to face regardless of whether it's a friend or a family, you know? And so I think too many people place too much focus on don't do business with your friend, don't do business with your family. I think, but the real problem is these people don't know how to address issues, make progress from them, and sometimes, take for granted the relationship, so they bring less than 100 into the relationship because that's my partner, you know? And so I'm really good at like addressing things when they bother me, you know? And I'm real straightforward. Like if there's an issue, I try to like, I'm not afraid to deal with elephants in the room kind of thing. I'm like, look, this is the problem. And I speak into you about this problem in this way because I want you to come to me directly as well. I don't want us to continue going on a road and then we build up resentment for something that could have been dealt with weeks, months, years ago. My, I guess, big vision and just desire to want to contribute to the world. And so I tend to, every organization I work on building has that sort of like bigness of feel. My desire to want to help people in anything that I do, right? And so you can have a big vision for something and it just doesn't necessarily have to be something that really helps people and progress society in that kind of way. And then I think my ability to build really good relationships with people, because I genuinely have a curiousness about people and I like speaking to people a lot. My personality is like I'm snappy sometimes with my words, and so when you're like that, you're not thinking about the things that you say a lot of the times. Not a lot of the times, sometimes, because you're just trying to think of a fast response, or the fast response automatically comes in my instance, and so it could be not so ideal in many instances. Next would be that, my ADD, because my mind would be just in so many different places all the time. Sometimes it could be hard to follow me, but I'm aware of it and I really try to control that, and I've developed real good communication as a result of it. Yeah. Of course, I've learned a lot, and I've a lot to share, but I feel like a kid still, you know? Like my perception of a 30-year-old or 34-year-old when I was 19 was that they had the world figured out in some way and you have a lot of problems solved, but man, I feel so far away from where I thought I would have been. Two things. One, learn yourself. You know, so many things are put onto you. You're not good at this, or you're good at that, or most of the things that you feel like you're not good at, and then you develop an insecurity around it. And things that you can't do in this world. And I want you to know, like, forget all of that. You know, like, whatever you want to accomplish in this world, you set your mind on it, and as a North Star, if that is what you feel called and compelled to do, go hell hard after it. And I want you to ask yourself the question, what problems am I solving? and what value am I creating for not only for yourself and your family, but for the community around you. Yeah. And it's really important to understand yourself. I don't think that enough importance is placed on like you learning you. What makes you tick? What is your rhythm? When to go to bed? When to wake up? Like, you have these scripted things that they tell you, but everybody is different. Everybody is different, and it's really important that you take time to understand who you are, what you want from this world, how you function, and yeah, I think that's the really most important thing. Read and watch videos. We have so much content available. I think it's really important to find people that embody whatever you deem success to be. And understand as well that people are human beings. Nobody is perfect. But it's really important to set your mind on what your version of success would look like, whether it is you dance, you paint, you're a business person, you're in sport. Like, it's really important to have these people, and not as idols in that way, because when you idolize somebody, there's almost no fault. I think it's important to recognize that people are human. These are human beings that just manage to actualize themselves and become the best that they can be in that area, but they're probably really crappy in other areas. Probably they lack something in some area of their life, and so it's important to understand that and not wholly idolize anybody. But it's important to have images of people who have gone before you and learn from them. It is through learning from them, whether it be directly or through reading about them or watching videos online, that this level of indirect mentorship is really key. Once we can see ourselves in that place of success, we begin walking in that direction and walking with our heads held higher, as though we will eventually become there, and the time will pass by, and you'll be surprised at where you are based on you seeing a vision of yourself that was maybe so much more grand than where you currently are.